Good morning, Miss Daily Wall here. Today we're going to talk about angle relationships. So you can learn about what the different angle relationships are and use them later in proofs, which we'll be studying later in the unit. I'm going to shrink a little bit so you can see the top of my head. The learning target for you for this lesson is I can understand angle relationships and use them to solve problems. So these relationships are going to help you find angle measures and prove what is what later on in the unit. Angle relationships. What is an angle relationship? Angle relationships are created by intersections of segments, rays, or lines. All terms and undefined terms that you learned earlier in the unit. Angle relationships give us information on angles by comparing position, measurement, and congruence between two or more angles. There's a couple of examples of what an angle relationship could look like, right? Two angles, non-adjacent angles. Do you like that? Do you like my pointer? My son taught me how to do that. I didn't know how to do that before. Always remember that while this video is happening, pause it at any time to write things down if I'm moving too quickly for you. Also, you can rewind it, watch it as many times as you want. Using the note sheet that is on the practice problems that have space for all of these definitions is a really important tool for your success in this lesson. So let's cover a couple of angle relationships now. Angle bisector. What is a bisector? It's a straight line that bisects or cuts into two equal parts, an angle or a line segment. So this might look familiar to you from previously in the unit. It's a construction, right, that bisects an angle so that each of the new angles are the same or congruent. Complementary angles are angles that add up to 90 degrees. Angles can be adjacent, sharing the same line, or non-adjacent. So this is an example of a non-adjacent angle, right? Because they're not sharing the same line. It's two different angles, but they still add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary angles are angles that add up to 180 degrees. So same thing, right? Non-adjacent angle, but they add up to 180 degrees. These examples are also in your curriculum on page 10. Adjacent angles are two angles that share a side but have no interior points in common. So angles that share a side, but there's no points interior inside that they have in common. Remember, pause, write it down, draw a picture. I promise it'll help you. So let's try an example problem. In the angle relationship below, is the angle relationship below supplementary or complementary? Explain why. What do you think? Tell me. You're totally right. It's complementary because the angles add up to 90 degrees. An extension of that, are the angles adjacent and are they bisected? So do they share a side and are they cut in half equally? The angles are adjacent because they share a side. They are not bisected because the two angles are not equal. Yeah? Look at that, tying all the vocabulary words in. Amazing. Linear pair. We've only got two left. Linear pair. What's linear? A line. Two adjacent supplementary angles that lie on the same line. I should add that. You should write that down. That lie on the same line, 180 degrees. Supplementary, right? Because they add up to 180 degrees. Vertical angles are opposite angles that are created when two lines intersect. These lines share a vertex, but do not have sides or interior points in common. So two lines that intersect, that share a vertex, but do not have any interior points in common. So this angle and this angle are congruent, and then this angle and this angle are congruent. Crazy, huh? Lines are 180 degrees, so if you have them crossed that way, like, boom, it just makes angles the same measure. It's kind of a neat trick in geometry, I'm not going to lie. And you'll use vertical angles all the time. This is a super important one for you to remember. Identify the sets of vertical angles in the image below. So you have two lines, SR and PQ, and then you have two sets of angles. The colors kind of help you out. So what's an answer? Angle M and angle N are congruent, and angle B and angle A are congruent, right? Because they're right across from each other. Boom. There you go. Your angle relationship summary. Each angle relationship tells you something different that you will use for the whole of this unit and really in future units. Angle relationships, super important for proving congruence. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for hanging in. Remember, go back, watch this video again, take notes, do the practice problems. Let me know if you need anything.